Okay, I think we have come to the end of the sessions after all the presentations. Okay, let me just try to summarize some of the key points. I think these sessions probably we do not have sufficient time to go into details of every one of the grid developments in the respective campus, but I guess it's serve as a very good overview of the recent developments of the grids in our campuses. And I can also capture some of the highlights here. For example, when we just now talk about the resources sharing, okay, I think one of the key challenges is really the infrastructures and the bandwidth limitations if you have to do something between campus and even across the countries. Okay. The other items I picked up just now from the respective presenters is really on the management of the resources, meaning in the sense of how grids is able to shift the complexity of the resources from the researchers or from the users, so that when they have to run certain jobs on the respective nodes there, they do not need to really locate and identify the amount of resources there that they can use. Okay, so I guess also we are trying to see how we can quantify the benefits of the grid computing here, because some of the examples shared by the respective campuses is also in terms of the speed up of the research jobs. Instead of, let's say, spending weeks and months for the jobs to be completed with the grid resources, then we can spend less time and to run the job faster. So I presume many of us has different initiative on that. Okay, we normally started with the campus grid, and then we interconnect with the institutions forming a national grid. And I've seen initiative also between continents like Europe and China, and also Europe and US. So I think there are quite a lot of developments in this area. I just want to open up this discussion to our colleagues here. Does any one of you has any input or any idea on some of the points made by our colleagues just now?
Can I say something from the University of Indonesia?
Okay.
Yes, thank you. My name is Widianto Nugroho. I'm from the Faculty of Computer Science here at the University of Indonesia. It's been an interesting presentation given by all the speakers, and I really learned something from what has been outlined on the development utilizing the grid. But there are recurring application that I can see. At least there are 3 items there. First is the digital museum, and then the use for the bioinformatic research, and then one that NUS is working on in transferring those massive file into a different format. Now, to allow the grid infrastructure being used effectively, I think there should be an application that is being pushed through, so then rather than the information center or computing center providing the services, but somebody is really pushing through with the demand of providing the application. Now, among the network of APRU, I think on all those participating in the session today, probably pushing through the application of digital museum can be useful in terms of checking all those. This is a simple things, although it's not obvious, but that's something that can be done by everybody, because probably, for example, if you are working on bioinformatics, not everybody is working on bioinformatics. So that's just what I think. Back to you, and US, thank you.
Thank you. I guess the point is really we need demand driver or research champions to for some of these applications, so that we can make it more effective. I mean, in terms of making use of the grid here. Okay, I think the points are taken. Yeah, thank you. Any other comments? Robin, ANU?
No, thank you, Tommy.
Oh, Michael Badge Publicity Office.
Hello? Can you hear me, Tommy?
Yes, yes.
So I was just interested to follow up on the digital museum grid and the extent to which there is a development program that would allow the digital museum application to be shared or exported. We're very interested in that particular application here at the ANU.
Okay. Probably we should have this topic on the digital live museum to be focused on in our future meetings when we have opportunities to meet face to face again. Yeah.
That's a good idea, Tommy.
Any other points you all want to bring up? Or do we see any collaborative opportunities here? Because I guess what NUS is trying to work with the respective campus is also to be able to share the resources. Okay. When we talk about resources, it's not so much on dedicated resources. It's sort of spared resources. For example, when we have all the desktop PCs, we can make full use of it when the PCs are not in use. Okay. And I understand from Beijing University just now, when we talk about resources, sometimes the resources are dedicated and it's pretty loaded and hardly can have any spare use cycles to be shared. Okay, but I guess some situations in the campus. Okay. Any other input? You want to say something?
May I ask a question?
Okay. No problem.
Okay. I want to know, in our university, the supercomputer engineer, they don't like to share their supercomputers to others because instead that we have a supercomputer and it is 64 G-flops, but it's not enough, and it's most of the time the usage is more than 80%. So that's the a question we want to ask for. There are a lot of research projects on grid computing in Peking University, but we had done this work for about more than 6 or 7 years. But till now, the supercomputer is still ran there independently. I don't know what other universities to do on this. How do you balance it? Thank you.
Thank you. Any response to Beijing's question here?
Yes, this is from the UNAM in Mexico. What we have here is a centralized supercomputing service too, which is run specially, and it has an academic committee that does the reviewing of the users, the projects that actually have the right to run on the supercomputer, together with the technical staff and that oversees that the resources allocated get properly used. This seems to be a good model of not only administering the resource, but also knowing the community, their interests, and therefore get the feedback that is helpful for future planning.
Yeah, thank you. I guess it's also sometimes it's also related to the overall IT governance on campus. Okay, I also don't think this is the only model, and it is sort of this is the model replacing the others. I think on campus there are respective high-performance computing footprints, meaning sometimes the resources cannot be shared. It is just dedicated to certain type of research, okay? And for some other research work, probably those will not occupy the resources full time, okay? And of course, there are some downstream issues here. If we have been seeing all these HPC developments in isolations on campus. For example, power supply, utility, air cooling for the data centers. So these are some of the issues that I think many of our colleagues have to deal with in the individual campus if everyone of the research groups are putting up their resources by themselves. Okay, so I think it's overall a challenge for us. I don't think we have a solution here, but just that I also don't think there's only one model for that. Okay.
Tommy?
Thank you.
Yes.
This is Don from the University of Oregon. I think it's interesting that our colleague Riri wanted to have our next video conference on IT governance, because this might be an opportunity for us to share some of the different models that we have, and especially how they relate to the sharing and use of resources across the institution, as well as possible opportunities to work with other institutions, perhaps within the APRU group. At Oregon, we are, as you know, very decentralized, and so we share the same problem that some of the other institutions have in terms of a sense of faculty ownership of their individual resources, and sometimes the reluctance to share those resources with others. So I'm very interested not only in the conversation that we're having now, but in the next conversation we'll have on governance and ways in which these committees that Mexico and others have mentioned can been used to help facilitate better sharing of resources. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Don. I also recall that last time when we met in the USC, in fact, they have quite a good governance model put in place for the HPC. So later on, we have touched base with them again, and then we are trying to follow similar management models over in NUS. So I guess these are good learning opportunities for some of us here. Okay, thank you.